On January 7th, 2022 at nearly 8 p.m., 3 dumpster divers outside of a JCPenney's in New Mexico made a startling discovery. Here you see the divers huddled around a black trash bag. What you can't hear is the whining that was coming from the bag. The dumpster divers, April Meadow, Hector Jusso, and Michael Green, believed the pitiful noise had to be a whining cat or dog, something that may have climbed into the dumpster accidentally. Instead, they're horrified by the truth of what they found. A living, breathing baby boy wrapped in a trash bag was left in that dumpster to die. With its umbilical cord intact, this child had no chance of survival after being abandoned. Upon finding the child, April Meadow was seen rushing off camera with the child in her grasp, wiping it off with the towel it was wrapped in. The crew called law enforcement shortly after this, all the while wondering who could do something like this.
Hello, 911?
Yes, we just found a baby in the trash. We had just found an infant child.
Is it breathing?
In the goddamn trash. Yes, ma'am.
Hello?
Hello, yes, ma'am.
Can you tell me about the baby?
He's still got his umbilical cord, and he's freezing cold, and he's barely, he's drained, he's very, very, very weak.
The police were on the scene quickly. The same surveillance footage from roughly 6 hours earlier than when the baby was found shows a white 4-door Volkswagen Jetta pulling into a nearly empty parking lot and stopping in front of a line of 3 large green dumpsters. A woman exits the driver's side door and opens the back passenger door. She then grabs a black bag from the back and casually throws it into the open dumpster on the far right, before hastily getting back into the vehicle and driving away. The entire incident only takes 30 seconds, but the damage has been done. It's too late to take it back. The alleged driver of that car, Alexis Avila, 18, is seen here, waiting for questioning. Brought in only a little while after the baby was recovered from the dumpster, Alexis is seated against the wall, giving her the feeling that she is trapped and has nowhere to go. The following interrogation has been analyzed by a qualified team, including a licensed attorney and former criminal prosecutor, a licensed clinical psychologist, a psychologist trainee, and an individual with a Master of Science in Clinical Psychology.
Can I have some toilet paper for my nose? Sorry.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. Give me just a minute.
Thank you. Sorry.
Oh, no worries. That's the closest thing I found. Alright, so mine's down in place, okay? I'm Daniel Pez. I'm an investigator here with the Hospital Police Department. Alright, what is your name?
Alexis.
Alexis? What is your full name?
Alexis Nicole Avila.
Okay. So before I do ask you any questions, okay, I do per policy and procedure, I read everybody their rights. It doesn't mean anything other than me making you aware of your rights and you understanding your rights.
Okay.
Does that make any sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you need any medical attention though before we start? No? Are you okay?
Yeah.
So there are bulletins. I'm going to read you each bulletin. If you have any questions, feel free to stop me at any point, okay? So, of course, you have the right to remain silent. You do not have to say anything at all. And anything you do say can be used against you in a court of law. Do you understand that part? All right.
As soon as she sits down, the detective reads Alexis the Miranda rights. In doing so, he is assured that later on Alexis can't say she didn't understand her rights. The detective is also extremely careful in downplaying the Miranda rights, because this usually means that the suspect is less likely to request a lawyer, especially if they're young.
And what else do I do?
If you wish to talk to me or not, if you can just initial yes or no. Okay.
Alexis seems polite and cooperative. Her tone of voice is soft-spoken. The fact that she moves the paper towel on the table when the investigator spoke, and she maintains eye contact are all indications of respect for authority and a willingness to cooperate.
Right, so I know there's a lot, okay, to talk about, and I just want to ask you, why you think you're here, or what led us to us being here, all right? Obviously, I do know information, and the last thing I want to do is, to start off on the wrong foot and for you to start, lying. So there's always two sides to the story. Obviously, I'm looking at a evidence standpoint, what we were called out to. I don't know what you're going through. If you're going through anything, we're all humans. Before me being a detective, I'm a father. I'm son and stuff like that. We're all human. It doesn't matter what rank we have or how old we are. All right, and that's why, I asked you to come out here and give me your side of the story. Okay, I'm not here to judge you. I'm not here to question you. I'm not here to accuse you. I'm not here to, belittle you. That's not what I do. That's not my job. So my job is to investigate, and that's exactly what I'm doing. All right. So if you can, I would kindly ask you just to tell me the truth, and we'll go from there. Okay?
The detective is playing nice here by claiming that he's just doing his job, that he understands there are multiple sides to every story, and all he wants is to hear out hers. With a suspect who is timid and young like this one, this is the approach most officers will use, as being aggressive and confrontational will likely make her shut down and less likely to talk to him. More than anything else, the detective wants her to feel safe. He's trying to lull her into a false sense of security. The hope is that she will confess to the alleged crime, as a confession is one of the most important pieces of evidence law enforcement can get. It's extremely difficult to challenge a confession in court, as more often than not, it's all that's needed to convict a suspect.
So you want to tell me what's going on or what happened today or what led to this?
I can tell you, but I need you to ask, because then I can't tell you because I don't know.
Right. Okay.
Notice that Alexis says that the only way she can tell him what happened is if he asks her questions about it, which most likely indicates that she has a rehearsed story ready to go. She's using the questions as a guide to keep her story straight. Further, detectives often ask open-ended questions to elicit narratives. While providing narrative responses, suspects are more likely to share contextual detail and less likely to lie without being detected. This contrasts with close-ended questions that would produce shorter responses, such as yes or no. Her cooperation with questioning seems genuine, not forced or feigned. In interrogations where the suspect seems to have antisocial personality disorder, or APD, they are sometimes compliant, but it often seems almost unnatural. Like they're doing it for their own good, because they're in an interrogation, so it's in their best interest to be cooperative. However, as the interrogation gets more stressful, people with APD often start to show their defiance towards authority. They often become irritable or angry. But Alexis's cooperative attitude doesn't appear to be faked just for the sake of the interrogation circumstance. It's important to note that Alexis has not been formally diagnosed with any psychological disorder.
So, obviously I got confirmation that you were pregnant, okay? Right.
I found that out yesterday.
You found that out yesterday?
Yesterday.
Okay.
Alexis states that she found out she was pregnant yesterday. This is a detail the interviewer didn't ask for. When a suspect offers up additional information without being asked, the information given is most likely false. Alexis most likely rehearsed this answer and wants to make sure it's on the record before they move on.
So tell me a little bit more about that.
What do you mean?
So how is it that you found out, or how?
Well, I've been having back pain, really bad, and I got in an accident September of 2021.
Okay.
2 years ago. And I just thought that's what it was. And the pain comes and goes, and so I didn't really think anything much of it. And it just kept hurting, and so my mom took me to the ER, and they just said that I had some kind of spray, and I don't even know what kind it was. And they just gave me medicine for it, and it wasn't helping.
Okay. But
I still didn't think anything much of it. I gave them my urine sample and see if for infection or anything. There was nothing, I guess, I don't know. And then I just kept hurting, and so I went to the clinic, and they did a urine sample, and they told me I was pregnant, and that's when I found out.
You said it was yesterday?
Yesterday.
And where did you go? To what clinic? What hospital?
The one on Del Paso.
Del Paso? Okay, which one? Lee?
Yeah, that one.
Okay.
The one under construction.
Alright. Who took you?
Myself. My parents were at work.
Your parents were at work?
Yeah.